In my therapist's embrace. He listened. Not just to my words but to everything I wasn't saying. I met him at a time when I was broken. Not the kind of broken people can see. No bruises, no tears in public. Just a constant edgy, like something inside me had collapsed quietly, and no one noticed. Except him. He never asked too many questions. He never interrupted. He just listened like listening to me was the most important thing in the world. And somehow, in that silence, I felt seen. At first, I went there once a week. Then twice. Then, whenever I couldn't breathe. He didn't try to fix me, just gave space to everything I had buried for too long. But I noticed things. The way his fingers curled around his pen when he was deep in thought. The way he always wore dark blue shirts. The way his eyes lingered on mine a bit too long when I cried. And one night, I stayed after our session, just to talk. Or maybe for something more. He made tea. Sat across from me. No notebook, no glasses. Just him and me. The silence was warm. Too warm. I stood up to leave. He walked me to the door. And then it happened. My hand brushed against his. He didn't move. Didn't pull away. I looked up. Our eyes locked. I shouldn't, he whispered. I'd know, I replied. But I didn't stop him. And he didn't stop himself. That night, I wasn't just his patient. His lips found mine, hesitant at first, like asking permission. Then deeper, hungrier. His hands held me like I was made of glass, like he had been holding himself back for too long. He laid me gently on the couch, the same one I had cried on so many times. But that night it wasn't a place for tears. It was a place for healing of a different kind. He knew my pain. He had studied my traumas, read between my silences. But now he touched me like he wanted to rewrite them all. And maybe, just maybe, I let him. In the morning, the sun slipped through the curtains like a guilty secret. He sat by the window, shirt half-buttoned, hair still messy from sleep. I crossed a line, he said quietly. So did I replied. We didn't promise anything. There were no lees. Just a moment between two broken people who needed each other. Even if only for one night. I went to him for therapy but found something far more dangerous, the kind of healing that begins with touch, not words. A continuation of the forbidden connection. Some nights leave a mark deeper than any words ever could. I didn't go back for weeks. Not because I didn't want to. But because I wanted to too much. I replayed that night in my mind more times than I could admit. His breath on my neck. His hands tracing the places that hurt most. And somehow healing them. But it wasn't supposed to happen. I wasn't supposed to feel safe in his arms. I wasn't supposed to crave the very person who was meant to stay distant. Then one day a message. If you're ready to talk. I'm still here. No pressure. No assumptions. Just him, as always, holding space for me. I returned to his office on a rainy evening. The moment I walked in, I saw it in his eyes. He had missed me, but he didn't say it. Therapists don't say such things. We sat. Silence. And then. He spoke. Slowly. Carefully. What happened that night was wrong. Professionally. Ethically. I know that. I nodded, fingers tight in my lap. But, he continued, voice dropping just a little. It wasn't meaningless. That one sentence shattered the wall I had tried to rebuild. I stood. Walked to the window. The rain was heavy. I could see our reflection in the glass, two people caught between rules and desires. He came behind me. Slowly. Carefully. Tell me to stop, he whispered. But I didn't. Because I couldn't. His arms wrapped around me, this time without hesitation. His lips on my neck, not questioning, but remembering. He laid me down again. But not like the first time. This time was slower. Deeper. Like we were savoring a forbidden fruit, knowing it might be the last bite. Every touch was familiar now. Every sigh carried memory. We didn't speak. Because this wasn't about words. This was about two people trying to hold on to something. Even if it was destined to fall apart. In the aftermath, I rested against his chest. His hand traced lazy circles on my back. "What are we doing?" I asked. "Something we shouldn't," he replied. "But something we needed." The storm outside passed. But the one inside us was just beginning. Love doesn't always arrive with flowers. Sometimes it comes in the form of a broken man, offering a broken woman something real in the wrongest way possible. The more they tried to hide it, the louder their silence became. We promised it was just one night. Then two. Then we stopped counting. Days passed. Then weeks. We kept pretending it was under control. He tried to go back to being my therapist. Sitting across the room again. No touch. No stolen glances. No lingering goodbyes. But the air between us changed. Every word I said he heard more deeply. Every silence I kept, he understood more painfully. One evening, I was mid-sentence when he interrupted me. "I can't keep pretending this is okay." I froze. I knew what he meant, but I didn't want to hear it. "You're not just my patient anymore. You haven't been for a long time." He stood up. Walked to the window, back turned. Voice low. "If we continue this, I could lose my lessons, everything I've worked for." I stood up too. Not out of anger. Out of helplessness. "And if we stop, I lose the only person who ever truly saw me." Silence again. But not the comforting kind. This one was sharp. Real. That night, we didn't touch. We just sat close, but not close enough. I wanted to cry, but he reached for my hand first. "Let me refer you to another therapist," he said. "And then?" I whispered. He hesitated. Looked at me, truly looked. "Then I won't have an excuse to stay away from you." Weeks later, I sat in a new therapist's office. Professional. Distant. Skilled. But not him. No one was him. And then one day, a knock on my door. It was him. No suit. No briefcase. Just his tired ease and that voice I hadn't heard in so long. "I'm not your therapist anymore." He stepped closer. "So can I just be yours?" That night, there were no rules. No fears. No guilt. Just two souls who had been through fire and found each other on the other side. He kissed me like it was the first time. Touched me like it was the last. And for the first time in a long time, nothing felt wrong. Sometimes love grows in the most impossible places. And sometimes the only way to do it right is to break every rule. When broken hearts find a way to mend together. Love doesn't heal instantly. But with you, every scar feels softer. We took our time. No rush. No pressure. Every morning was a quiet promise to be patient, to be honest, to keep healing. He wasn't just my therapist anymore. He was my partner. My confidant. Someone who held my heart gently. Knowing it had been shattered before. We built new boundaries. Not walls, but bridges. We talked for hours about everything we'd been through. The pain. The fear. The mistakes. And slowly, trust grew where there was once only uncertainty. One evening, as the sun dipped low, he took my hand and looked into my eyes. "I want to be with you not as a secret, but as something real." I smiled, tears catching the light. I want that too. We stepped out of the shadows. No more hiding. No more silence. Just two hearts, brave enough to love. Not despite the past, but because of it. And in his arms, I finally felt whole. Sometimes, the most forbidden love is the one worth fighting for. Because true healing comes from the deepest connection, heart to heart.